And we're back. We're back, people.
You sounded like a radio announcer when you did that. It's like the shitty jingle just ended and you're like, hey, people of KL82, we're back.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Welcome back. I'm Paige.
I'm Erin.
This is Pixel Perfect Podcast. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian today because that just ended a couple weeks ago. Oh god, I've forgotten how time passes. What?
I think it was. Okay, so don't nobody judge me. But last weekend was the playoff game, and then
Should I put like funeral music
so
behind this next
I think
thing?
it was like 2 weekends ago, because there was the weekend of the playoff game, and then there was the weekend before when we got trounced, and then it was the Mandalorian. So no, that was the same weekend. All right, 2 weekends ago.
Okay, 2 weekends ago, the season finale.
You could look it up too, but this seemed like the easier way.
Yeah,
apparently.
you know, just figuring it out with our limited brain power. Anyways, it just ended, so we want to talk about what that season was like, a little bit about Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
But first, the Pokemon Direct came out today.
Yes,
so
and I watched it, which shocked my husband.
Do you not usually watch those?
I don't watch anything.
What?
I don't watch anything. Like, literally, I just wait for news to happen, and then my husband comes home and tells me the news, and then I go, oh, okay. You sent me, and you were like, oh, the Pokemon Direct's happening in 15 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna do that now. And Cody texted me, my husband texted me, and he goes, hey, this thing's happening on, this thing happened. And I was like, I know, I watched it. And he was like, you don't watch anything. He was like, what do you mean you watched
I
it?
just pictured him, like, looking at his phone, like, what? What? Did the world flip over? What's happening?
It was very strange for him.
Wow.
But I watched it.
Yeah.
So.
And you've played a little bit of Pokemon, so what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's...
You made a face before you started. I'm sad people couldn't see that.
I've been trying to, like, figure out my feelings about it since it aired. I think it's very interesting that Pokemon has DLC now. Yeah. Basically, it's a very new thing. And they even talked about it. They were like, yeah, usually, and we just release...
The third game or whatever.
Yeah, the next game, in the same universe. You know, like, you have Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun and Moon. They're like, we're just gonna do expansion packs.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh.
Yep. Okay.
You were like the only people that had the entire game all on the same, the little thing still.
Yeah.
And, which is like, you know, you get a PlayStation game, it has to download onto your,
Yep.
has to download for like an hour before you can actually play it.
Yep.
And now we have DLC for Pokemon.
Yeah.
Which is just, I think, a strange thing to say.
Well, I think because on the Switch you can download so many games now. Like, I don't think I own any Switch cartridges. All my games are downloaded on it. I very quickly ran out of space.
All Switch cartridges.
Really?
I own all cartridges. The only thing I have is Stardew Valley.
Oh, yeah. No,
everything else on a cartridge.
I even downloaded Breath of the Wild. I mean, I should have.
You downloaded Breath of the Wild?
I know.
Why would you do that?
No, just kidding. I have the cartridge for that.
You liar.
I definitely have the cartridge for that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense because I think I still have all of the various Zelda hardware for systems I don't even own anymore. So that would make sense that I would buy the actual one.
Okay.
Oh, man. So
let's talk about what the expansion pack actually is for those of you who did not hear. I'm assuming by the time you listen to this, you probably have heard. But so you have the Isle of Armor, which releases in June 2020, and then the Crown Tundra, which releases in fall 2020.
Yeah, which seems like very close to each other. So like,
yeah, and I think
understand the weight.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very interesting though, because you could tell how far along they were than by what they were showing. Where they like had like more stuff for Isle than they did for Crown, where it was like by Crown it was basically just concept art. You're like, oh, that's concept art.
Yeah, it's like it looks like another delay kind of waiting to happen based on Nintendo's track record.
It was very much, you could tell how not done they were.
Yeah, it was like, here's a snowy tundra with a mysterious balloon Pokemon who has a Triforce on him for some reason.
Oh my god. We have to talk about the Pokemon. Okay. So my big thing was, it's called the Crown Tundra, and it's all snow. And the legendary for that is Grass Psychic?
Was that what he was? I had to stop watching like the last 3 minutes because I had to go back to work.
I wrote it down. Yeah, Grass Psychic is the legendary for the Crown Tundra.
I mean, if you think about it, like a tundra ecosystem doesn't necessarily have to be snow. there are tundras that are like cold, but they have like grasslands.
But all
kind
they
of.
showed was snow.
Well, maybe that's just like the one spot.
I know, but
know.
it was still just weird. I still had a moment where they were like, the
It's
crown
odd.
tundra, and they showed all snow, and then they were like,
odd.
grass psychic,
Also,
and I
it
was like, okay.
floating in the air and had like a hot air balloon head. So
Yeah, it was- yeah, so I guess my big question is, I'm wondering, I mean, it's actually not too bad. It's $30.
I probably like everything I saw on Twitter where people were really excited about it and like had no qualms with the pricing, but I kind of think it's bullshit.
Why? Tell me why.
Because $30 for an expansion pack for what you're getting compared to the $20 you get for the DLC pack for Breath of the Wild, which I would say arguably has more content, and because you have it's such a like it's a AAA title and like a huge company and they have funds and like. For example, you see Stardew Valley, which is like a $20 game, just released this like epic expansion of content for free.
Yeah.
So like to
great.
me, like what we're being set up with via other games, I saw $30 and I kind of balked at it and was like, really? That's.
I mean, at least you get both though.
Yeah, that's true.
It is both things for $30, but I was a bit like, that's half of what you would pay for a brand new game.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not sure it kind of feels like half a game, but then again, we don't know yet how much content it's gonna have.
Yeah, it could be epically large, especially with like again, like what you said, like we're very not in the know with the tundra part of it, so it could be quite large.
So, but I did like they were like that you get both as they release.
Yeah,
and I liked the mentor name was Mustard.
Oh my god, I died at that. That was
like
so
I like
funny.
that his name
also,
was Mustard.
Kung Fu is adorable. I hate his evolutions, but Kung Fu is adorable.
And I got nervous though when they started playing all of the stuff and it was just like outfit after outfit after outfit, and I was kind of just like,
oh yeah.
Okay, so at me on Twitter if you actually give a shit about the outfits on Pokemon, because like
I give a shit.
Oh my god,
I love customizing characters. I love character customization.
I don't mind it. Like, it's fine. Like, I do it because I have gobs and gobs of money because they assume that you're spending gobs and gobs of money on these stuff. But like, I just like, I don't care. So when they were showing me all the outfits, I was like, I swear to God, if this is all I get for $30, I'm like, I'm not doing it.
If that's all you got, that would be ridiculous. But I actually love it. So I used to like turn on my DS for X and Y every day just to check what like the new daily offerings were in the different stores around the area.
In case you're wondering, I'm judging you very hard.
I'm sorry.
The judgment is very real.
You don't even want to know what shitty gear I put on in Dark Souls just because I was like, that's way prettier than the other thing I was wearing. I'm sorry, I'll suffer. I'll learn how to dodge better.
You're good enough at Dark Souls that you can do that.
Yeah. Not the first one, but
well, she's really good at Dark Souls 3, you guys.
Yes.
The first one kind of.
Hey, I was good at Dark Souls 2. I made it pretty far in that no bonfire run before I fucking blew it.
That's true. Are your videos still available on Twitch?
The clips are, not the actual streams, but the stream highlights are on that YouTube channel that I made that I think is still called Pixel Page. I don't know. Used to stream very briefly. I tried a Dark Souls 2 no bonfire run and it epically failed live and crushed my soul.
But she did very, very well up until she forgot what she was doing.
Yeah. It was... Oh god, it was awful. I'll link to that. You guys can watch my suffering. I also have a Dark Souls death compilation that's like a half hour long. I was pretty proud of. It was like the first video I ever edited.
You hear her talk to me a lot if you actually watch the videos. It's like, because I was a mod, so it was just like you and me having conversations.
Yeah.
And occasionally my husband kicking in to tell her what to do.
Yes, which was a godsend. I was like, oh thank God, somebody help me.
Okay, so
yeah.
I mean, yeah, $30.
Yeah, I'm iffy on it. I think there's potential there, but
it might be worth waiting to find out what's actually gonna be in it.
It certainly hasn't swayed me to buy the game.
It's as of the 9th, which we are at right now, it is available for pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm not gonna. I'm probably not ever going to. But they also did a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon,
the remake remaster thing.
Which comes out a day after my birthday, which is March 6th.
Yes.
Send me presents. We'll get a P.O. box just so you guys
her birthday is March 5th. The 6th was the day after thing. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then that looks cute.
Yeah. So. I saw the people who liked that game looked really excited about it, so I was like, oh,
yeah,
cool.
The chat was like going insane.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the chat though that were just like, this is it. And I was kind of just like, okay.
Oh god. I think people got kind of bait and switched because they started with the like 2006 thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, Diamond and Pearl remake." I think was that the year for that. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Whatever Sinnoh was. People thought we were getting a Sinnoh remake.
And yeah, no, and then it was mystery. I had a little bit where I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's okay. This is not something I really care about too much.
I gave like no fucks about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see what happens when it comes out.
Yeah. If you want to hear the rest of our opinions on Pokemon, you can check out episode 2 where we talked about the full games.
Yeah, of Sword and Shield, which is like we told you not to buy it, and now we're talking about the expansion pack, and we're still like,
Yeah. So spend your money wisely, folks.
Okay. Moving on.
Yes, we can move on.
So
the main topic.
Starting on Disney Plus, and this is news that like just came out like a couple days ago.
Yes, news to me too.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, because so there's this British bank called Barclays.
Okay, the name did sound familiar when you mentioned it.
Yeah, so this British bank estimated that right now, and this is something that people haven't been talking about, but the estimate that I'm about to mention includes Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus.
Okay,
so it's all
their
three
bundle
things.
that you
They're
can
all
get.
3 things.
Yeah.
So they did an estimate of what Disney was worth, and its streaming services specifically are worth $108 billion.
Good lord.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people are freaking out because they're saying, well, like, oh, Disney Plus is now worth 70% of what Netflix is worth, and it's only been alive for 2 days.
Wow.
For 2 months, excuse me.
Yeah.
But that number also includes Hulu, which has been around as long as Netflix has been around.
Yeah.
So it's a little disingenuous to say Disney Plus is now worth 70% of what Netflix is worth.
Right, yeah. No, I'd say that's incorrect.
But it is a pretty hefty number.
Yeah, that's horrifying. The Disney conglomerate continues to grow like a fucking hive mind, and it's horrifying.
It's just, yeah, I was watching Charting with Dan, and they were just like, yeah, we're going to be in fiefdoms, and you're going to be in, like, the Disney fiefdom versus the Amazon fiefdom.
Oh my god, that's horrifying. It's gonna be, like, 3, there's gonna be Google, Amazon, and Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple might be in there somewhere.
Oh, maybe. The elitist group.
So, the platform launched on the 12th of November of last year.
Yep.
Of 2019. And I guess it got 10 million subscribers on its first day.
Oh, it was so popular that it crashed fucking hard. Like,
That's what I heard, too.
Nobody could use it. Everyone was like, I can't log on. Like, this is BS. You should have been prepared for it. And it's like, I have sympathy for companies in that regard because, like, you can expect a lot of volume, but, like, servers only have so much room. So, like, when they're all on there at once, something's gonna crash.
Yeah, and it's like when Pokemon Go first came out, and, like, you
Yes,
couldn't get it to work.
Awful.
And you just couldn't get it to work, and there was a bit of that, like, well, they shouldn't have expected this, and I was like, yeah, but you can only do so much preparation.
You can only expect so much, especially if you expect too much, and then, like, you kind of look like an asshole for, like, overestimating your success. So,
Yeah.
like, they're gonna prepare for what they think seems reasonable.
We got it when The Mandalorian came out, and
Which was just a couple days shy of the release of the whole platform, right?
I have no idea. It's the one thing I didn't look up.
I'm pretty sure it was because I remember thinking it had just come, like, you had mentioned to me you were waiting to buy it until then, and then I looked up when it was coming out, and I was like, oh, I'm surprised it didn't just launch when Disney Plus actually
They
launched.
should have. I don't know why they didn't.
It seemed like, yeah, it was a good launch title. I mean, I guess a couple days isn't so bad.
Okay, so IMDb is telling me that it did come out on November 12th. So maybe they did launch with it, and we're just dumb.
Oh, all right. Whoops.
Okay, so we got it, and it was fine. It worked fine for us. It was a little laggy. We had to, like, go in and go out.
It's still a little laggy. Like, if me and Brendan try to watch anything after 10 p.m., I swear to God, it, like, stops working.
Yeah, I haven't really had too many issues with it. I binge watched it all today, and it was fine. Yeah, I just watched The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
guys. I just
you heard
watched
that right.
Today.
She binge watched the whole thing today.
To be totally fair, I had watched the first episode when it came out. I watched the second episode yesterday, and then I also watched the season finale the weekend it aired.
Okay.
Because Cody's family made me.
Oh.
Because they wanted to watch it. Gotcha. And it was his dad's birthday, so, like, it's not like you can say, no, I know it's your birthday, but I'm not supposed to watch it.
You just, like, turn around in your chair and you're like, I'm not watching this. I'm not.
So,
I'm not part of it.
I ended up watching the season finale then.
I actually originally wasn't going to watch it because I was kind of burnt out on Star Wars based on my opinions of the movies in this new trilogy. So I was like,
Did
fuck
you see
this.
the new movie yet?
No.
You Star Wars failure.
I know, I really am. like I said, burnt out on this because I have not been enjoying the new trilogy. So I was like, I'm not going to watch The Mandalorian. It's going to be more Disney bullshit I don't care about. And then my aunt and uncle were watching it at their house, and I think the first 2 or 3 episodes were out, and I got hooked on it. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to go home and buy Disney Plus and keep watching this fucking show every week it comes out.
Which I think is actually something that we have to talk about that Disney Plus does that Netflix doesn't really do that often, which is the weekly episodes, which I think worked out really well for them, and specifically The Mandalorian.
I think so.
Because it gave everybody time to kind of like break down the episode and try and come up with how it was going to go, and I think it gave some room to breathe.
Yeah, and it's not wholly unique to them because Hulu does that. Like if they have newer shows that they'll drop weekly episodes like the day after it comes out or something like that.
Yeah, and Netflix doesn't not do it.
Yeah, aren't they starting to do that with a couple new originals?
I know that specifically the Great British Baking Show was weekly episodes. The last season was weekly episodes. Yeah. But they tend to just drop and then go, good luck, we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, but it works. I read an article from Forbes that had I think they got their stats from Google about the popularity of 2 shows, and it was The Mandalorian compared to The Witcher over like the timeline, and like you could see like the weekly drops versus like just dropping the whole season. And like The Mandalorian of course had their peaks every Friday when the episode was coming out, and you just had like this nothing line for The Witcher, and then The Witcher season comes out and it's this huge fucking peak, way higher than The Mandalorian, and then a week later a huge drop, and then a plateau. But even that plateau was like higher than any of the weekly peaks that The Mandalorian had, and was like maintaining this crazy popularity.
That makes sense. I think there's definitely pros and cons.
I think so.
Both.
I definitely like watching the one season in a day, but then you get like the binge high wear off at the end where you're like, I just watched this whole show and I have to wait another year.
I don't really get that. I just like, I don't know, man.
I think The Witcher is the main show that I got that with recently. Like, I've definitely, when I binged Daybreakers yesterday, I was like, whatever, I don't care about this.
Yeah, I haven't seen The Witcher, obviously.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no one I know will let me watch it.
Don't. It's, yeah.
I have an issue with blood, guys. Yeah. I don't like very bloody things.
No. I should not watch this.
I have been told to avoid.
Yep.
Okay, so The Mandalorian, just to give like some basic stuff, was created by Jon Favreau of you most likely know him from Marvel. He plays Happy. He also did Iron Man. And I only knew him as an actor until I found out about The Mandalorian and saw his name.
He's credited on some Marvel movies.
Oh, he's credited on all of them. He's like executive producer on a bunch of them, and I didn't realize that. Yeah. And so I looked him up afterwards, and I was like, oh, it's that guy. And then I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, he's in a lot. This man, I see his name, and I'm like, I know who that guy is, but then his face disappears from my mind. I have to Google his name every time, because I'm like, I don't know why I keep forgetting who you are, but I know who you are, but I don't know who you are at the same time. It's very strange.
I was very impressed. Okay, so yeah, I'm working through all my Mandalorian thoughts, trying to do it very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we could touch on the popularity a little bit since I mentioned the Forbes article. That's the word I'm looking for. Because according to Parrot Analytics, it came in 3rd for the most in-demand streaming for its debut week, and then continued to rise from there on out, and was like the top most in-demand content in its 3rd week, even like out of cable shows.
Okay. So you don't just mean on Disney Plus, you mean like in general?
The first week it was 3rd for just the digital content, and then it was 1st for digital content in its 2nd week, and then its 3rd week it was 1st overall for all media.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely built up, and that's once people realized it was good, they were like, all right, let's do this.
Well, I think people had like my mindset where they were really leery about it, because they were like, everyone's been so divided about like the Star Wars movies that they're like, okay, this could be really bad. Also, they didn't do the review ahead of time, which usually means it's going to be bad. They didn't let people do the pre-launch reviews. What's the word?
The screenings, or like
maybe that's it.
I know what
critic
you're talking.
screenings, something like that.
Yeah,
they didn't do those.
I'm gonna look this up. I know what it is.
Yeah,
too.
it's like a term for it that I'm like dancing around it. But yeah, I think people were like a little worried about it. It's been deemed the least controversial Star Wars title to date, both in its like numerical popularity and like its general reception online. Like it's critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes is 94% and the audience score is 93%.
Oh, wow.
So
That's actually really...
Oh, yeah. It's insane.
I don't think I've ever seen that where the critics in the audience were like, yeah, we agree.
Yeah, absolutely. It's. I couldn't find a single bad review online at all today. And I, like, looked.
Okay.
It was nuts. But all the other, like, Star Wars media was all, like, pretty divisive in that regard. Like, huge discrepancies between the audience and the critic scores.
I mean, Rise of Skywalker, man.
I know I have to go see it, but
You
the
have to go
idea
see
of
it.
spending $20 to go see something I know I'm not going to enjoy.
You just gotta see it and you gotta laugh at it. You're just gonna be like...
That's what I did with The Last Jedi.
You just gotta laugh at it, because it's just hilarious. Like, everyone out there should probably watch Jenny Nicholson, and Jenny Nicholson did a video about The Rise of Skywalker, and she was just like, spoilers, by the way, for what I'm about to say, but she was like, the dumbest thing I possibly come up with to, like, because she does these bingo cards where she puts, like, dumb things or potential things that could happen in movies, and then you get the bingo, like, she does it for fun with her friends, and she was like, I just put the dumbest things I could possibly think of in my friends' cards, and one of them was, Rey is a Palpatine.
Oh my god, yes! I saw someone's post on Tumblr, and it was from, like, 2 years ago or something, and they were like, hear me out, here's my crazy theory, and it was all about, like, Rey being a Palpatine, and it was the funniest shit ever, and then everyone was coming after this person being like, you ruined this! And then the memes. Who fucked Palpatine? Who fucked Palpatine?
I don't know. It's the same. There were moments that were good. In general, you should see my face, guys, right now. I'm trying so hard to try.
She's struggling. She's doing her best. You should read your blog post, though, if you want some more thoughts on that.
Yeah, I wrote a blog post about it. That's on our website, which is just pixelperfectpodcast.com. Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
So you can check it out there. Yep. If you're interested. Oh yeah, the Mandalorian. That's what we were talking about.
That's what we were talking about. I literally was like, what did we start this episode with?
Yeah, and it's so it's created by Jon Favreau, written by him, and then it's starring Pedro Pascal of
who I love.
A Game of Thrones fame, among other things. And I spent the entire season just sitting there like, take off the mask.
I didn't even realize it was him. Like, I didn't look up the cast list until after watching a few episodes, and when I saw it was him, I was like, damn, that accent really made it. We have no idea that was Pedro Pascal. I don't know what his real accent sounds like, because I just know is his real accent what he sounded like in Game of Thrones?
You'd have to watch an interview. I have absolutely no idea.
I'm not sure. I just realized this whole time that, like, I kind of gave the idea that, like, I got hooked and I really enjoyed it, but I haven't... Did you like the show? Did you enjoy watching it?
I did. So, I don't think that it's very bingeable as someone who has binged it.
I could see that. I think consuming it weekly, I think, definitely helped.
It was definitely worked better. I did enjoy it. I felt... When my husband was trying to describe to me watching it, he was like, you watch the first episode, you watch the last episode, you don't really need to know much in between because they just go on random adventures and kind of just like, you don't, they're not
it's
very
like the
connected.
Collecting of friends and then there's like the team up at the end.
Yeah, but even like there's entire episodes where like that's not even happening.
Yeah.
So where they're not collecting people, it's not serving the main plot, it's just kind of there. Like the prison episode.
Oh god, I hated that one.
It
like,
doesn't...
I genuinely enjoyed the show. I do have qualms with it, but like that prison episode, I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
I think it was just meant to show his past and show who kind of who he is. His honor. Excuse me, I don't know what I just said, but I don't think it was honor. His honor, but it felt very disconnected. And
absolutely,
it was that's kind of my big thing is that episode to episode it felt very disconnected. It didn't really feel like there was this overarching story happening. It's kind of the story kicks in the beginning and it kicks in at the end and then nothing in between.
Yeah, you could probably watch episode 1, 2, and 7 and 8 and skip the rest.
Yeah, you could,
and it'd still be a cohesive
and
story.
It would be fine.
Yep,
it would work.
Yep.
Which I get it.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of, for me at times it was a bit like, what's happening?
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why it's not as bingeable.
Yeah.
Is because you're not going one up to the next going like, oh, we're ending on a cliffhanger, I need to know what happens, or we're not. It's very interesting in the sense that it's not what we're used to anymore with television, which is that you'd introduce a problem and resolve it at the end of the episode. So like we were watching episode 2, and his ship gets, pulled apart and scrapped for parts by the Jawas, and he has to go get the egg to trade with them to get the parts back, and then they fix the ship, and it all happens in the same episode.
Yeah.
And so you're never, like, there's never really any sort of tension about where it all happens all in the same episode. So it was a little bit to me where I was kind of just like, oh, this problem is solved already.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next episode was like, oh, this problem is solved already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like when they help that village on whatever planet they're on, and they like take down the ATST, and it's like, it's just like, it could have been like a cool setup episode, and then they take it down the next episode. I don't know. Like, it was
I
again
wanted to know who the fuck this woman was.
Oh my
that
god!
Could shoot like
right?
And I'm like, this is the interesting story. Why aren't we telling this story?
Absolutely.
And then there was a little bit for me. So hold up, I'm gonna get a little negative here, but like, the actors clearly had chemistry, which I think was the only thing driving that plot point of like the romance thing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, they've barely had a conversation.
It was a little forced.
It was like I said, I felt like there was chemistry between the actors and they carried it, but like, I feel like it was their chemistry was doing more of the work than the actual writing and the actual storytelling.
I
where I was just
agree
like,
with that. I was like,
am I supposed to be rooting
on?
for these two? But I wanted to know who she was. She was the most interesting character in the entire story to me, and I was like, who is this woman? How did she end up here? What is going on?
Yeah.
And they gave me nothing.
Yeah.
They gave me nothing, which is fine on some level, because it's fine to introduce things and just leave them interesting and mysterious. I'm not saying that doesn't have its place in storytelling, but like...
No, I wanted to know more about her. I was like, excuse you,
like,
backstory now.
Yeah, I wanted something. They gave me nothing.
Yeah. And like, especially like out of all the team up collecting that was happening, like, she probably would have been worth grabbing. I know she has like children.
I mean, she'd never leave her kid, but like,
she had some things. Like, it could have been an interesting point where like he goes back and like asks her to come along with him, and like she doesn't, and we get a little bit more play off between the characters.
It might have also just been interesting to have that interaction be two-sided when she was like, "Oh, you're leaving."
Yeah.
Where he could be like, "You could come with me."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And at no point is that kind of addressed that she would definitely hold her own.
It kind of feels confusing, like what they want from us in that episode, like what kind of reaction they were going for. I was like, it's because it seems like it's, they want us to be like, ooh, romance, but it's also at the same time, it's like, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, there's also this moment where he takes his helmet off and he's like very much in the window, and anyone could look up and see his face. And
oh my god, when he's eating, I'm like,
I was like,
buddy, really?
I was a bit like, I get it. I mean, that kind of brings me to another point, because that shot was really good. There was some the directors of this show.
Oh yeah,
on point.
Absolutely.
On point.
I listed them all because I wasn't sure how many episodes Taika Waititi did, because anytime Taika Waititi directs something, I'm just in love with it.
Oh, it was great.
So
he did the finale, and it was...
And it showed. It was...
Yeah, it was absolutely
one of the best
amazing.
episodes of the whole season.
The filmmaking, just across the board, was just so on point.
Absolutely.
And it was just so good.
The whole scene at the beginning of the finale with the dudes on the speeders, I don't remember what their actual like titles are, and they're like just like shooting the shit with each other, like talking about what's going on. Oh my god, that was gold.
But it's also like there were just some shots every once in a while where I was just like, the shot of the armor as she's sitting and waiting for the stormtroopers to come so she can beat the shit out of them. Like the shot and the composition of it is just like, I'm just like, this is great.
Yeah, well, I think it was very well crafted. I mean, it should be for a $100 million budget.
Yeah, I just across the board, it was really, really, really well made, and the care was clearly there. I guess I just feel bad because I feel like I should be really on board with it, and I don't think I'm as on board with it as other people.
I get that. Like, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say I'm like totally in love with it. I don't think I'd give it like a 93% by any means. Like, there were like 3 women characters total.
Oh my god.
So that hurts my soul.
I know. I mean, there was Cara Dune, who is really well done.
Yeah. At first I was mad because I didn't know they were going to do the team up thing at the end, and I'm like, oh cool, we just left her behind after introducing a woman. That's fucking fine.
Yeah. So she's around, she's got a backstory, she's got stuff going on.
I like her.
There's absolutely no romance between them, which I appreciate.
Yes, that was very nice. It was just like completely platonic.
So she was really well done. So I mean, but it's good. I think that a lot of people see it as a course correction for Star Wars. I think that's the big thing that's happening, is that a lot of people kind of think of it as, finally we have Star Wars again. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like Star Wars. You watch it and you feel Star Wars.
when I was writing my notes earlier, I typed up something called like a kitty filter, which I feel like is my feelings towards these new Star Wars pieces ever since Disney acquired Lucasfilm, is that I feel like, I don't know, there's just something kind of soft to me about them where I'm like, I feel like I'm definitely watching media made for kids versus like when I watch the other Star Wars movies, I feel like I'm watching something made for a more general audience. Does that make sense? I don't know. There's just like something, there's still a missing piece for me that like there were certain things happening in The Mandalorian and I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, this was made so like a 10-year-old's feelings wouldn't get hurt or something like that.
I'm thinking, in case anyone wondering what's happening. What's happening is I'm
pondering is occurring.
I am pondering the. I can see that, but I guess I don't see the original films as really having anything. Not that. I mean, Revenge of the Sith got pretty dark.
Yeah, maybe that's because I grew up with the prequels, and to me those were like kind of more intense than the other ones.
Yeah, I mean they have more dark to them.
Yeah, which makes sense.
But the originals, they're not that dark. They're pretty kid friendly.
No, that's true. That's probably why I didn't like them either.
Paige is like, give me violence. I want
okay.
uncensored violence.
I have a sick interest in the macabre, so probably accurate.
But I think, I mean, the music and I think a lot of people, I mean, you're talking to two prequel fans here.
Yeah, controversial opinion, but we both really enjoyed the prequels.
I like the prequels. One of the things that I was noticing is that the prequels are coming back in terms of, because everyone's watching the newest films and they're just like, oh, I guess the prequels weren't that bad.
Yeah.
Because compared to Rise of Skywalker.
Right? I feel like the people like us are coming out of the woodworks more. Like I'm seeing more people who are publicly like not afraid to be like, I liked the prequels.
I like the prequels. I grew up with the prequels.
Yeah, they were like prequels. They were our time.
But I feel like there's a big thing where people didn't like the cleanness of the prequels, where they're very shiny and they're very crisp, and a lot of people kind of like the return of the Mandalorian to like the more like dirtier, like more
I
down.
Get that. I think it makes sense for the era of time though too, because it was the New Republic, right? Is that what it was in the prequels?
No, in the prequels?
Yeah. Well,
no, because they weren't. They were just the Republic. The New Republic.
Just the Republic.
They were just the Republic.
Okay. Well, it was
the New Republic comes after the Empire.
Right. But the whatever was happening, the government was relatively stable, like until towards the end of the movies when like there's going to be all kinds of shit happening. Yeah. But in general, it's like the system has its shit relatively together, and is like there's a system and an order, so like things are going to be kind of shiny and crisp and like not in disarray, and you know.
Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like the prequels make sense, but I feel like a lot of people kind of liked that their return to, because the Mandalorian definitely has that more original trilogy feel to it.
Yeah.
It feels more closely connected to the original trilogy than it does to like, the prequels, say so, for sure,
and definitely more so than the new trilogy.
Yeah, the new trilogy, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna be forever angry they didn't lean into a romantic thing between Finn and Poe, because that would have been great.
Oh, also, Oscar Isaac is also very angry
about it. I love it.
He's like, apparently, I haven't watched any of the interviews, but apparently he brings it up in like every interview that like Disney was the one who wouldn't do it. And they did have that one kiss in Rise of Skywalker between two women that got cut.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. There is a gay kiss. Mm-hmm. Between two women in Rise of Skywalker, that's very blink and you miss it.
Wow. Okay.
And it got cut for, I believe, Singapore.
It did. Yes, that sounds familiar. Yep.
Yeah. So, but
shaking my head. Oh gosh. I want to talk about the Baby Yoda phenomenon, because I'm trying to decide if Disney added him in because they thought it would be a really cool story to tell, or if because they were like, this will be the most epic cash grab ever for merch.
Actually, what I heard is that it was kind of a big deal because Disney did not prepare for this in the same way, and so they didn't have all the Disney merch ready for Christmas.
Oh, really?
That is, I have to like double check this, so don't hold me to it. But what I heard is that Disney did not have all of the Baby Yoda stuff ready for Christmas. Because they didn't quite anticipate it being such a huge thing.
Phenomenon of Baby Yoda. He's pretty cute.
I enjoy Baby Yoda. My favorite part is when they're fighting when him and Cara Dune are fighting, and
they
look,
tea
and they just look up, and he's just drinking. He's just drinking the broth,
so
and he's just
just like kind of a meme factory, honestly.
Yeah, it's I like Baby Yoda, and I don't think they.
You don't think?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So
success.
I'm looking at an article from CNBC. Baby Yoda caught the merch industry off guard, and now they're trying to catch up.
Oh, okay. That's kind of makes me feel slightly better about the, megalomania of Disney.
Yeah. So I guess manufacturers told CNBC that the little creature was absent from promotional materials they were provided ahead of the release of The Mandalorian.
Oh, well, that's right. When I was talking about the review copies, is that the word I'm looking for?
It's like critic screening,
something, the
press
screening,
releases,
press
screenings.
I remember that's the second half of the article I read is that Disney claimed the reason they didn't do it was because they didn't want to spoil the twist of Baby Yoda in that first episode.
Which I guess makes sense, but
Yeah.
which I guess is also why they were behind on the merch, is that they were keeping it a secret. I guess they told the manufacturers that the only thing is that the Mandalorian would be caring for a child at some point throughout the season, and they didn't specify what it was.
Right.
But yeah, Baby Yoda wasn't available for Christmas.
Who fucked
for
Palpatine?
Christmas.
Who fucked Yoda? We'll never know.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, that's good to know. All right. I mean,
they kept it a secret, and I guess I'm reading a headline right now that says it cost them $2.7 million
by not done in time.
By not having it done.
That's like chump change to them.
Yeah, but it's still $2.7 million they probably would like to have, but I guess they chose keeping the secret over the.
I think it was worthwhile. I mean, in terms of all the things that all the leaks in the world, Disney is amazing at cracking down on those. I never hear Disney leaks. I think except for occasionally Marvel stuff.
Marvel stuff gets out, yeah.
But other than that, I never hear really anything about leaks. Unlike Game of Thrones scripts.
Which the entire thing just leaks.
Entire episodes.
It's just there.
It's gone. I can't get into it. I'll cry.
Maybe one day, once the pain is healed, we will do a Game of Thrones episode.
Well, I mean, they're gonna come out with those prequel shows, so I feel like we're gonna have to look into that a little bit. Yeah,
you guys want to hear me turn into a
I will. I'm gonna be standing and slamming my hand on the table, screaming if we talk about Game of Thrones. It's gonna be crazy times.
Yeah, my feminist comes out mad when we talk about Game of Thrones.
Yep.
So I liked Baby Yoda. I felt like he didn't really do anything.
No, not really.
He's kind of just there and
something.
He force pushes things occasionally. He's adorable and doesn't really do anything. But they've hinted at being more important.
Yeah, I mean, he was the whole reason the show was happening. It was the thing to pick up for the client, and he was Moff Gideon wanted him for some reason. And
and it's very clear that Moff Gideon wants him really, really badly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and I mean, season 2 has been confirmed.
Yeah, it's coming out this fall.
Okay.
That's what I last saw. No, hard release date. Words are hard. I just can't. Speaking of Baby Yoda, I want to talk about the found family. I don't want to call it a trope, but found family trend that I feel like we've been seeing in media. You didn't watch The Witcher, although The Witcher's been around for a while, but The Witcher has very much that same style of a found family between a cranky dude and a child and other people, and my own book I'm working on, it kind of has to do with cranky people accidentally kidnapping a child.
That is a thing that you do.
I know. It's just it seems to be very prevalent right now, and I wish I had looked into it more to see if there was a catalyst for it, or if I don't know. I just find it very fascinating
that there's this trend of people having to find their own families.
Yeah,
versus,
yeah. I find it very interesting, but it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of other examples of now that something happening.
Yeah, I'm blanking super hard. I had thoughts about it earlier, but they're birds out of my head.
She went to work and then she came here and now she's...
Yes. All my brain power's been used up for the day. Oh god.
There is something I'm gonna take this back.
Take it back now.
Unless you have more thoughts about the found.
Nope, they're dead and buried.
Okay. All right. So, one of the articles I read preparing for this, and I'm bringing it all the way back down to Disney Plus now, was Disney Plus has been sort of quietly removing movies here and there and not telling people that they're getting removed.
Wait, what?
So, like, I guess, like Home Alone got taken off.
Holy shit,
and, like,
really?
What is it? One of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies got taken off.
Whoa, I just binge watched all of those. That's crazy.
Did you binge watch the new ones?
Not the fourth one, but I did watch the fifth one. The fifth one's not on there because under some licensing thing or whatever, they can't get it on there for another year. There's like a bunch of movies that they have on there to preview, but they aren't actually there yet.
Yeah. So Home Alone and Home Alone 2 got removed. They were on there for Christmas.
Though?
I don't know. I'm assuming there's stuff going on, but they're like quietly removing movies. And the article I was reading was talking about how, you know, Netflix doesn't do that. Netflix releases all of the stuff that's getting taken off before it's happening.
Like extreme advance notice.
But like they're just, Disney has so much power.
It's ridiculous. I mean, before we had this, you remember how things used to go like in and out of the vault? Like you'd get a new VHS and there'd be a preview on it and be like, this other movie's going into the vault, so you better get it. You'd be like, fuck, I gotta go find this movie.
I gotta go get the movie
before it's in the fucking vault, or whatever that fucking means.
And if you want it when it's outside the vault, like I worked at libraries a lot, and there was a patron who lost Cinderella, and luckily we had an extra copy that we could pull from, but like the replacement cost for it was like $100 or something, some crazy number, because it was in the vault.
My goodness.
So in order to get a DVD, like Blu-ray copy of it, was like a crazy amount of money because it was in the vault.
That's insane.
But I'm kind of a bit like, if you're gonna be pulling movies, tell people what and why.
Yeah, that's very sketchy and odd. Which Pirates movie did they remove?
Stranger Tides?
That's the fourth one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I specifically didn't watch that one because I heard how bad it was. The only reason I watched the fifth one is because I had binge watched the other three, and I heard that they like brought back the Will and Elizabeth storyline, so I wanted to see that played out. And then I was like, I just wasted 2 hours of my life on this garbage.
For like this short snippet at the end of like him showing up. Yeah.
And I actually kind of hated it because I kind of liked how they tied up the third Pirates movie. I was like, it was like a bittersweet ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they built up the whole like touch of destiny thing throughout like the whole 3 movies, and then they just kind of like reversed course for a cash grab for a 5th movie, and I was like, this is really dumb.
I know, but my heart, just like as like a fan of them, was just
watching Elizabeth come over that hill and watching them reunite, I definitely cried. Because that's another set of movies we grew up with, so like I had the biggest crush on Orlando Bloom when I was younger. So
yeah, it's just interesting to see how they're gonna change the industry, especially because like
I feel like they're like that honey, we've got a big storm coming gif. Like who knows what's gonna happen with them.
I don't know, but it's I feel like Netflix still has a big part to play though, and I do feel like this is probably something you've heard before, but I feel like it's gonna crash eventually, where there's gonna be too many streaming sites.
Oh yeah,
and they're gonna have to be combined and come out and put together, because you can't.
Yeah, there's like 20 different streaming services now, and if you had all of them, it would be more than the cost of cable. And the whole reason streaming picked up was because people are trying to escape cable. Yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, like I pay between Netflix, Hulu, and I play for Hulu cable.
Oh damn.
And then Disney Plus, and then my husband pays for Funimation and Crunchyroll. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm missing one still. Amazon Prime.
Yep. The one you hate to admit.
It's just, I feel like it's a lot, but and people are talking about how, you know, after only 2 months, Disney has 24 million estimated subscribers, and it's worth 70% of Netflix's value. And I'm like, okay, but they started with all of the Disney movies, almost all the Marvel movies, and almost all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, that's a crazy lineup.
They just own everything. Like it's not.
It's disturbing. Like there was an article headline I saw recently that said something about like 83% of last year's blockbusters were all somehow a subsidiary of Disney. by like how many different things that they owned, and I was like, that is
Yes,
so disturbing.
I saw that too.
That is really
It
disturbing.
is. I also saw something though that was saying it was basically a weird year because Star Wars and Endgame released all in the same year.
Oh, so it was like the epic ending of movies.
Basically, so like they took a giant chunk of it partially just because they had these huge blockbuster movies that were.
That makes sense. I could see that. Wow, 2019 really saw the end of a lot of things. Like Game of Thrones, which feels like 3 years ago now, based on the emotional damage.
I know. And then Star Wars and I mean, Avengers isn't over. Just
phase
4 is over.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
But yeah.
I feel like my final thoughts are The Mandalorian is worth watching.
Oh
so,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
If you haven't yet, like, I give it. I wouldn't like probably don't binge it all in one day. Like, give yourself.
Do not
some
binge it all in
room.
one day. As someone who has done that, do not binge it all in one day.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No, watch a few episodes here and there.
You'll get fatigue, and it's kind of just worse. It definitely was. I think the episodic weekly releases was a smart decision. On their part in terms of this movie.
It wasn't like.
I mean, this TV show.
It wasn't fiery enough to like really keep your attention and your energy up to do it like a whole day session.
It's just
Unlike The Witcher. I've already been watching it.
She really likes The Witcher.
I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. Henry Cavill is amazing.
You always forget that Henry Cavill could act because he's always directed by Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder sucks. So
yeah.
You forget. Oh yeah, I said it. Zack Snyder sucks.
I'll support you on that. But yeah, he definitely can act.
Have you seen? Sorry, this is totally random, but have you seen Release the Abrams cut?
Oh, people, yeah. Because
there's this hashtag because people are saying that Disney made him cut a bunch.
Yeah.
So people are saying Release the
Abrams.
He
worked on like a shit ton of it too before they replaced him, right? Or
no.
What happened?
No. That's the Release the Snyder cut. Release the Abrams cut is Release the Snyder cut is a whole other drama.
I have not been paying attention to
that. Is a whole other drama, but so now we're gonna break it down. So, Justice League.
Yes.
Zack Snyder worked on it for a very, very long time.
Yes.
He got into post-production and there was going to be more reshoots. There was going to be filming stuff.
Yep.
But one of his children tragically died.
Oh, that's
And he had to excuse himself.
I forgot about that.
And so Joss Whedon comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Joss Whedon comes in, does all the reshoots, does even more reshoots, and does all the post-production.
Yeah.
So...
And he changed a lot, allegedly, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
He changed a good amount. He changed the tone. You can definitely see the difference when you watch Justice League between the parts that Snyder directed and the part that...
Okay.
But there's this really interesting video, if you're interested, by Foldable Human on YouTube about how the Zack Snyder cut does and doesn't exist, because it might exist, but it'd be very kind of the special effects wouldn't be done, so it would be very like rough. And so
yeah.
And he also talks about like the likelihood of it being released or not released. But so there's this whole thing about release the Snyder cut of Justice League. And somebody started release the Abrams cut, and J.J. Abrams is the director of Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, yeah, I knew that.
So they're saying that there was a big cut of Rise of Skywalker that Disney said because it was too long, and so people are now saying, release the Abrams cut of Rise of Skywalker because that movie will be better.
Wasn't Rise of Skywalker only a couple hours?
Well, they were saying they had to cut it down because the one he had was too long.
But because aren't the newer movies are shorter, aren't they? Like, typical Star Wars movies were like 3 hours plus. Like, I feel like they were in the Lord of the Rings territory a little bit.
No.
Weren't they?
No.
Are we sure?
Yes.
I think the prequels were.
No.
I'm pretty sure the prequels were 3 hours long, because I
Revenge of the Sith might have been, but
I said to Brennan something the other day about, hey, you want to watch a prequel? And he was like, fuck no, it's like 9 o'clock.
So let's do
fact check.
Phantom Menace, 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Oh, well, I was
even
facts. Yeah,
so like, and the originals were like 2 hours and 7 minutes. So
what was I thinking of?
I don't know. Like they're long for standard movies, but they're definitely never hit Lord of the Rings level.
Okay. Maybe I had just looked at the Lord of the Rings and then looked at the prequel, and my brain combines the two into one. I don't know what's happening. My brain thinks it's Friday and wishes it was Friday.
I got a little aggressive there where you're just like, Thursday. Are you sure? And I was like, yup. Yup.
I'm sorry, I had a Mandela effect moment. It was like reality was rewriting itself in my head, and I had to come back down to earth.
No, it's totally fine. But because of that, people are saying that there was like a 2.5, 3 hour long movie that J.J. Abrams wanted to release that he was not allowed to release.
Oh, I have heard that because I feel like I remember people saying like we would have taken a longer movie because it was the end, so like we wanted to have that much.
Yeah. But I mean, I also don't believe that if J.J. Abrams was given more time, that he would have made a better. Like, I don't believe that a longer runtime in this case would have made a better film because there were too many core flaws in the script that I don't think it would have made it better. It might have given the more time to breathe for when Rey makes these, kills Chewie.
Yeah.
More time to like react to these decisions, but I just there were so many flaws in the core script that I can't imagine more runtime would really do much for it.
I don't think so.
But there's people out there who are like mad and say that the Abrams cut trivializes release the Snyder cut because, and I'm just like, stop.
Both of them are annoying.
Stop.
You need to stop.
Stop.
I had a final thought. What was my final thought? Oh, how do you feel about the future of the Star Wars industry? I feel like that's a nice wrap up. Do you feel like we're headed in a good direction with whatever's coming?
I feel like if you keep giving it to people like Jon Favreau, you're gonna be okay. I feel like the most important thing, and I talk about this in a review of Star Wars, is that there has to be a vision. Do you know what I mean? Like part of what happened with the originals and the prequels. You had George Lucas, who was heading it all. George Lucas had a vision.
Yeah.
The extended universe even had a vision. There was a point to it. They knew where it was going. They knew all the stuff. And the core problem with the newest trilogy is that there is no vision. There is no core story.
No, absolutely not. It's so haphazard and like I feel like I said this somewhere else, but it's like a dick measuring contest between the two directors. Yeah. And
The Mandalorian had a vision, and it knew kind of what it wanted to do, and it knew the aesthetic it wanted to fit into. And it feels very Star Wars-y as a result, which I think people talk about a lot, is how it doesn't feel Star Wars, which is it's very, not a great measure.
Right.
But I just feel like what Star Wars as a whole is missing right now is some sort of overarching vision to connect all of these things together. There's no... Yeah. They need a Kevin Feige. They need to, like, put George Lucas back in his seat.
Yes.
And, like, say, like, you control the vision.
He came out of retirement, I thought.
He wanted to have he wanted to have more control, and he had more story, and they ended up bringing him on for Rise of Skywalker more than the other ones, I believe. But
probably he panicked.
I believe it was panic. But they need a Kevin Feige. They need someone which is crazy to me because they own Marvel.
Yeah,
they own Marvel.
They've seen what they can do, like how many phases they have, but they're still like a cohesive, overarching theme going on.
There's a story happening.
Yeah, there's so many different connections and intertwined characters. And
it's just so insane to me that they took the Star Wars and they threw it all the extended universe and they just don't, and they didn't replace it with a vision of their own. They didn't replace it with a vision. There's no vision for Star Wars. So right now I think it's in a pretty precarious place still.
Okay. I would agree with that. I think that's a great summary of it just feels like we're still wading through the unknown with it, and it like really could head in either direction.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how things go. I think that moving away from trilogy formats is probably beneficial, but also at the same time, like, is that going to result in a bunch of one-offs that have no vision?
Yeah.
So.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just, one of the things that my husband was talking about, because he's read I read a fair amount of Extended Universe, but I read more of the Jedi Academy books, and he read more of, like, the Darth Bane books, and Darth Bane is the guy who, like, invented the rule of two, and he's, like, the big Sith guy.
Okay.
He's the big Sith guy. And they invented this new, like, planet for the Sith in Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
And my husband was like, okay, but there was already an existing planet. He was like, you threw out all the stuff that, and
yeah, because like the extended universe was considered canon up until these movies, right? Where they were like, by the way, those books aren't...
Up until Disney acquired it,
right? They
were considered canon, and then Disney threw out all the extended universe, marked them as legends, and then.
That's such bullshit.
And they're like taking bits and pieces from it, and it's just like, just use all of it or none of it, or like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. They
don't know what they're doing.
They don't. Get it together, Disney. That's my final thought.
Get it together.
You have too much money. Get it together.
This is now verging on our longest episode ever, and possibly also our rambliest episode ever.
Probably.
So, sorry for that. Hopefully we were entertaining.
Yep.
We're gonna do Little Women next.
Heck yeah.
We're gonna do primarily the 2019 movie.
Yes, that came out last year, right?
Yeah,
We're on the cusp of the new year, so I'm very confused about timing.
I think it like released. I was a limited release in 2019,
Okay.
and it's doing more of a wide release.
We're Googling again.
Yeah, I am. I'm on
Don't
IMDb.
mind us. IMDb.
I don't know why it's not. Oh, because I'm not on IMDb. I'm on Disney Plus still.
Whoops.
Sorry.
Epic fail.
Yeah, Little Women was 2019.
Okay.
Limited release in 2019 has been getting more of a wider release
We're
now.
gonna talk about it, and that'll come out after this one.
Yeah, the 12th?
Nope.
Nope, not even close.
Nope.
No, this is coming. This is coming out on the 12th.
This is coming out January 15th, and then the next one is January 29th.
29th.
It's still January.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, gosh.
I'll be there, I promise.
Hopefully both of us are there. All
Okay.
right. See you
Bye.
next time.